She trailed him. He hooked off the fence and she snuck through along the fence and took his run.
Okay, 1999 Breeders' Cup Turf, a race worth $2 million. They're moving into the barrier. Daylami, number 3, is the favourite, $1.80. Frankie Dettori on board for Sayed bin Surur. Sheikh Mohammed owns this horse, the powerful Godolphin team. Royal Anthem, number 2, who we saw winning the Juddmonte International, 2 runs back at Grade 1 level. And Val's Prince, number 9, is the third pick. One of the stars of American racing at the moment. He's won Grade 1 races at his last 2 starts. He's only had 4 runs this year. They've all been in top company, though, and all been very good. He picked up the Turf Classic last time out at Belmont after winning the Man of War at Belmont prior to that, over 2,200 metres. Yardley, number 12, another one of the American stars. He's won 3 Grade 1 races this year, and he has won at the track. He has won here at Gulfstream Park previously. Anything else, Tone? What do you think outside of Daylami?
Well, he's an interesting runner, Val's Prince. He's actually a winner in Hong Kong of an international race. Yardley is by Jade Hunter, a Mr. Prospector sire who actually stood out here at one stage. And he's a very popular horse, Yardley. He's a 6-year-old. He's won 10 from 22.
All right, our pill getting up to about 4,500. They're close to action. Daylami is starting from barrier 3. He's already moved in with Frankie on top in the blue colours. We're seeing number 13 go forward. That is Unite's Big Red. The last couple are taking their position. Thornfield, the winner of the Canadian International. The last 2 complete the line. Let's join Tom Durkin for the call of the Breeders' Cup Turf.
Ready for the start of the Breeders' Cup Turf.
No, let it go. Oh. No, it's not no good, Lloyd. Still not no good. He ain't no good, Lloyd.
All settled in order in the gate. And they're off. Thornfield and Unite's Big Red break alertly. Val's Prince, and there goes Bucks Boy, and Bucks Boy is gunned to the lead by Garrett Gomez. They are up to take the lead, and a headstrong Courteous, eager to go early, now running in second. Val's Prince is third. Royal Anthem down inside is now fourth. Faris, fifth on the outside. Bonapartiste runs 6th in the early furlongs. Honor Glide racing in between horses, now running in 7th. Thornfield 5 wide 8th. Daylami has a spot at the inside 9th. And Unite's Big Red is 10th, followed by Yardley, Dark Moon Dancer, First Magnitude, and the early trailer is Dreamwell, as Bucks Boy, the defending champion, will take the field through the early furlongs. And he comes wide off that turn. Bucks Boy wide off the turn, and a sharp first quarter there considering the distance, a 23-2 first quarter. Bucks Boy in 10th on the lead, and he is running right along. And Courteous is in close pursuit of this hot pace. Long striding Royal Anthem, trying to get comfortable here with 1 lap to go, 7 furlongs left. And then it's Val's Prince running in 4th, a hot pace here, 47 seconds flat for the opening half mile. Daylami is racing 5th, and he's enjoyed a perfect trip so far, hugging the hedge and saving ground the whole way. Faris 3 wide, he's racing in 6th, followed by Bonapartiste, Yardley down inside. Honor Glide is still unhurried, about 9 lengths from the front, followed by Dreamwell, who's now made some progress. And then it's Dark Moon Dancer, Unite's Big Red on the far outside, 4 lengths back to Thornfield, and First Magnitude is the last of them all. They've run 3 quarters in a testing and grueling 1:10-3. Bucks Boy has been setting a tremendous pace here, 4 furlongs to go. He's still the leader by almost 2 lengths. Courteous now asks for more run second. Royal Anthem is ready to roll, and he's been taken to the outside for clear running. And Daylami now has daylight. He's threaded his way through. He's 4th and in between horses. Yardley down inside racing 5th. Faris is under a drive running in 6th. And then it's Bonapartiste. Dreamwell to the outside, followed by Honor Glide. They're coming to the top of the stretch. It is still Bucks Boy. He has led throughout. But on the far outside, Daylami is sweeping wide, and Royal Anthem is in between those 2. They are set down for the drive. Bucks Boy defending a championship, and he is a tenacious champion. Here comes Daylami, unleashing an explosive rally, and Royal Anthem lengthening his stride. But Daylami runs by them all, and Daylami will win it going away. Daylami by 3 on the wire. Royal Anthem is second. Bucks Boy finishes third.
Well, that's terrific to see. Daylami finishes his career. That was his final start. Frankie Dettori on board, taking out the Group 1 Breeders' Cup Turf over 2,400 metres, and he is loving every minute of it. But that's no surprise with Frankie, is it?
Is he what? There's only one Frankie Dettori, and of course following on from the win of Barathea in the Breeders' Cup. Frankie steered it back in '94.
That's right, and Dale Army has turned around that disappointing performance in the Arc de Triomphe, proving that there were legitimate excuses on that occasion. He's come from a fair way back. He didn't get a long way back. He was around midfield, just worse than midfield. Frankie took off with about 500 metres to go, and in the home straight, that's when he called upon him. And look at the determination on this horse as he goes past these leaders.
It was a magnificent ride, wasn't it, Matt? He just went to sleep on the horse in the first 2,000 metres or so. Started to urge him along coming to the home turn. He was always travelling sweetly. Had Royal Anthem to beat when they got to the 200 metre mark, and then demonstrated how superior he was to the other horse. He just gapped him.
Just chase up those across-the-line dividends for you in a moment. Number 3, Dale Army, the winner. I wouldn't be expecting too much. He was the firm favourite. In fact, we can bring you some dividends. He paid $1.80 for the win and $1.90 for a place, Dale Army. Now, second, number 2, Royal Anthem, ridden by Gary Stevens at $2.10, and Bucks Boy back in third spot at $1.30. The Quinella was $8.80, and the trifecta still to come on race 9 at Gulfstream Park. The race taken out by Dale Army, and he has also broken the curse of the Europeans at Gulfstream Park. They don't have a great record at this track, but it's taken a super horse to turn that around.
Sure has. They've actually wrecked up the Quinella, haven't they? Number 3, Dale Army from 2, Royal Anthem. And last year's winner, Bucks Boy, trying to lead all the way again. Ran a very brave race, actually, Bucks Boy. But Dale Army too good, the grey. And Frankie Dettori blessing himself as he went past the post. It is Sunday morning.
Yeah, he carried those same colours in the Melbourne Cup only, less than a week ago, to run second on Central Park. He left Melbourne on Wednesday. It was a 20-hour trip across to Florida. Dale Army has been there for a bit longer than that. As we said, his work during the week has been very well. Obviously, Dale Army has settled in well, and this probably means a great deal to Frankie Dettori. He was heavily criticised 12 months ago for his ride on Swain in the Breeders' Cup Classic. The press were very harsh on him, Tone. They
were, and with a bit of luck we might be able to show you the replay of that race from last year as a lead up to the Breeders' Cup Classic in about half an hour. The horse hung off the track, and to most observers, Swain should have won the race, but Frankie insisted on whipping the horse with his left hand, and the horse bored out. May have cost him the win, but he's redeemed himself, Frankie, in no mean manner, has he?
He's a real crowd favourite, I think, Dale Army. I mean, even I've got onto his bandwagon in the last couple of weeks. He's just one of those horses that I've really taken a liking to him. I'm so pleased to see him win this race today at his last career start. He's now had 21 starts for 11 wins, 7 minor placings. He had $2.5 million prize money going into this. It's a $2 million race. He's won the Irish Champion Stakes at Group 1 level, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Coronation Cup. He won the Man of War at Belmont 12 months ago in September. He went around in the Nadal Sheba Dubai World Cup earlier this year. I don't think Frankie's going to settle down. He'll be lucky to make the ride in the next, the way he's lapping it up. A kiss for the strapper.
He's very full of himself, isn't he, Frankie? And deservedly so.
Yeah, this is, I think this has been the highlight, hasn't it, of today's racing, seeing Dale Army come in.
Well, it's a tribute to not only the horse but the Godolphin operation. They achieved a tremendous feat with Central Park here last week, the Melbourne Cup. He finished second on an abbreviated preparation. But this horse's objective always was the Breeders' Cup turf through the latter part of the season, and they've pulled it off. And for a horse to be able to ship between continents the way this fellow has and do what he did this morning, it just shows you what a marvellous animal he must be.
I think this is Sayed bin Suror just down with the horse at the moment with the dark sunglasses on, from the United Arab Emirates where the Godolphin base is. Simon Crisford is one of their travelling foremen. They'd have to have quite a few. We had Brad Mazzato here in Australia with Cafe Tara. Things didn't go well for Cafe Tara, but of course with Central Park. Simon Crisford is the racing manager for Godolphin, and he's been looking after Dale Army while he's been in America for the last couple of weeks, getting ready for this race. But Sayed bin Suror is the official trainer of all of the Godolphin horses, and Sheikh Mohammed, who pours so much into racing, I reckon he'd probably be there today too to see one of his favourite horses.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be there for sure, wouldn't he, Matt? Well, this is a leg of the World Series of Racing, and it's been his brainchild from a long time ago to instigate a series like this. There's Frankie, boy. He's cutting loose, isn't he?
The little Italian, Lanfranco Dettori, has won the Breeders' Cup Turf on board Daylami at a short price. The favourites come home and he's done the Frankie Dettori jump. I think he was the one that made it famous, wasn't he, Tone?
I think it was the shortest price favourite all day if Daylami got the cash.
Absolutely, no. Terrific scenes coming in. This big, powerful grey horse has added another big win to his already impressive tally. He's off to stud now, and I don't think there'll be any shortage of mares lining up to go to Daylami.
No way. Especially with that fact I mentioned, the toughness of the horse. You love to be able to send mares to tough horses like that. Not only is he tough, he's got wonderful acceleration, so what more can you ask in a prospective stallion?
Photographers must have needed a bit more of Frankie on board the horse, because he's jumped back on board, either that or he might have wanted to do another star jump, but this huge crowd, and he's such a professional racehorse. I mean, we've got probably 50, 60, maybe 70,000 people at Gulfstream Park today. He's not the slightest bit worried, is he? He's as quiet as a lamb.
He's absolutely bulletproof, isn't he, Matt? He's a wonderful specimen of the thoroughbred.
And Frankie Dettori does have a ride in our last Breeders' Cup race today. He'll be riding Almerta Wakel, also from the Godolphin team, and a pretty good horse on his day.
Well, the party mightn't be finished yet, eh?
No, Almerta Wakel won the Dubai World Cup earlier this year. Now, the trifecta is through. Here's a recap of those dividends in full. $180, $190 for Daylami, $2.10 for Royal Anthem, and $1.30 for Bucks Boy, $8.80 Quinella, $144.20 was the trifecta on race 9 from the USA. As exciting as those scenes are after the Breeders' Cup Turf, it's time for us to move on. We do have one more Breeders' Cup race to go. The Breeders' Cup Classic is recognised as the most prestigious of all Breeders' Cup races. It's worth the most in prize money. This one's worth $4 million, and we have a field of 14 to line up. Let's have a look at the early tote prices with New South Wales. And Catinas comes up at $75. Barons at $7. $8.40 River Keen. Golden Missile $17. Vision and Verse $36. Cat Thief $6.60. Almerta Wakel at $3.40. Actually, Jerry Bailey rides Almerta Wakel, I beg your pardon. And Ecton Park number 8 is at $20. I believe Jerry's ridden him at his last couple of starts. Over to 9, Bud Royale at $41, General Challenge at $7.70, Lemon Drop Kid $10, $50 Chester House, $20 for Old Trieste, and Supreme Sound is there at $69, with race 10 from Gulfstream Park coming up in 26 minutes' time, the race over 2,000 metres. Tone, time to come to the last on what has been a very exciting day of racing from Gulfstream Park in Florida. One to go, and what are your thoughts on the last event, the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Well, my top pick is number 10, General Challenge, Matt. He's only a 3-year-old, and he is a horse that will take a forward position. Last throw of the dice for Bob Baffert. He's had a blackout so far, 8 runners and not one registering a first placing for him this afternoon. So perhaps it might be the case with General Challenge. He has beaten the older horses so far this season, and big strong fellow apparently, so he'll do me. In an open race there's a lot of chances, and perhaps the winner of this race will get away with the USA Horse of the Year title.
Just by the way, Daylami has wrapped up the World Series, I'd say, with the points for that one. That'd be it.
Signed, sealed and delivered.
The inaugural World Series going to Daylami, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, who pretty much set the whole thing up, didn't he?
Well, that's right. It was a deserved result, really, wasn't it, man?
Almerta Wakel is the Godolphin runner in the last of the races. Almerta Wakel, also from the Godolphin team, trained by Sayed bin Surur, was the winner of the Dubai World Cup earlier this year. That's the race that we might have a look at, and then we'll discuss Almerta Wakel a little bit more.
And they're off to a very level break. All 8 runners went into their stride. Malik broke well towards the outside. On the inside in the red cap is Central Park. Also right up in the early stages is Daylami. Then comes Silver Charm. Almerta Wakel runs 5th. On the inside is High Rise. Running Stag is last, and just in front of that is Victory Gallop. Down the far side they go with a mile left to run. It's a fast, furious pace, and Central Park gets to the front. On the outside, Malik is 2nd. Running 3rd is Daylami. Up on the inside, here comes last year's winner, Silver Charm, 2 lengths off the pace. Almerta Wakel runs 5th. 6th on the inside is High Rise. Then comes Victory Gallop, and finally Running Stag. One who got a little bit of an up there was Daylami. He's gone back towards the rear, but it's Central Park who makes this. It's very fast indeed. Malik is 2nd. Third is Silver Charm. Fourth on the outside is Al Mutawakel. Then comes High Rise, Daylami, Victory Gallop, and finally Running Stag. Continuing the run down the far side as they come towards the halfway stage. 5 left to run in the Dubai World Cup, and still in the red cap, Central Park leads. Malik second, Al Mutawakel third. Fourth being ridden along, Silver Charm. Then comes High Rise, Victory Gallop gets closer. The outsider, Running Stag's running a big race. Daylami is last. Here they come round towards the home straight. 3 furlongs left to run now. Central Park in the red cap. Al Mutawakel is second. Here comes Malik in third. Silver Charm's under pressure. Victory Gallop's picking him up on the outside. 2 furlongs left to run. Al Mutawakel comes to challenge Central Park. Behind these in third is Malik. Picking him up on the outside is Victory Gallop. But it's Al Mutawakel who has the lead. From on the outside, Victory Gallop. Al Mutawakel, Richard Hills. Victory Gallop this side, Jerry Bailey. 4 in with the line. Malik's looking for room. Al Mutawakel, half a furlong left to run. Al Mutawakel, here comes Malik. Malik might get up. Al Mutawakel is holding him. They're coming towards the line. Al Mutawakel and Richard Hills are going to win the Dubai World Cup. Al Mutawakel wins it. Malik is second. Victory Gallop is third. Central Park.
Richard Hills rode him on that occasion, Al Mutawakel, to win the Dubai World Cup. Jerry Bailey's on him today, and he bred a pretty good field in the Dubai World Cup. It's pretty much the pinnacle, isn't it?
It was a fantastic race, wasn't it? Night racing at its best, and very long straight there in Dubai, isn't it, man? It was, best part of half a mile down the running.
Yeah, our Melbourne Cup place getter was in that race, and so was Daylami.
Well, after you see that race, it's not surprising that Central Park has run such a terrific race at Flemington last week. He ran a beaut race in that, didn't he?
We should have been on him, Tone.
Well, actually beat Daylami.
The Breeders' Cup Classic features Al Mutawakel, who is from the Godolphin team, as we've mentioned. Brad Mazzato is the travelling foreman, and let's get his thoughts with Andrew Bensley on Al Mutawakel.
Now, dare I try and pronounce the next one? Mutawakel.
Al Mutawakel, as a 3-year-old, he won the Jean Prat at Shanti on Derby Day, which is a Group 1 over 1,800 metres. Then he went to the Arc and he ran disappointing, so we gave him a long layoff and brought him back for the Dubai World Cup. He won the Dubai World Cup in great style. We were very happy with the horse, but he's not the same horse on turf as he is on dirt. So he ran in the Juddmonte International at York, which was a Group 1. He ran very disappointing, which, like I said, York, when it does get soft, it gets very holding and sticky, and plus he's not the same horse on turf. He went to America from there. He ran second, beaten ahead in a Group 1, the Woodward Stakes. Then he finished third in the Jockey Club, and now he's in Florida preparing for the Breeders' Cup.
They do a lot of racing, these horses, don't they, when you sort of reel them off?
Well, yeah, they do, but we do space their runs out. They have hard runs, but they're spaced. I mean, really, that's what Godolphin's all about. We try and get a concentration of champions, and we target all the best races around the world, and sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't.
Al Mutawakel, one of the big chances in the last event, the Breeders' Cup Classic over 2,000 metres. Let's have a look at the latest tote market with the race coming up in 20. 75 Catinas, Barons at $7, River Keen at $8.40, 17 Golden Missile, 36 Vision and Verse, Cat Thief $6.60, Al Mutawakel at $3.40, and Ecton Park is at $20, number 8. Then we get over to number 9, which is Bud Royale. At 41, Tony Brassel's Tip General Challenge at $7.70, Lemon Drop Kid 10, Chester House at $51, 13 Old Trieste at $31, and number 14 Supreme Sound is at $67, with race 10 there coming up in about 20 minutes' time. Chester House is the next horse that we're going to discuss, an English galloper. 4 of his wins have been at 2,000 metres, the distance of today's race. His first start in the USA today, Chester House. He went around in the Juddmonte International at his most recent start, Tone.
He sure did. That's at York. That's just that long straight, and we saw Royal Anthem get the cash there. This horse is a tough fellow. He's going to be very hard to beat, I'm sure. So, yeah, let's have a look at the replay, Matt. It is one of the most open races of the day, though, that's for sure, this one.
He was quite well beaten in this replay that we're about to see. About 9 3/4 lengths was the beaten margin into third spot. Ahead of him was Royal Anthem, and Greek Dance was back in third spot. In fact, we might come back to that. We are about to pick up our live coverage of the Breeders' Cup Classic, and we're about to head to our boys on track. Let's head there.
Knees was very difficult at 30, but we at least thought he had a shot given the nature of the race, and maybe somebody said, hey, maybe the race is going to fall apart. I'll use him as a 4th or 5th try in that pick 6. So there's certainly people alive, and you know, good luck to them. I hope they get it and get all the cash.
I think a lot of the people, when they were playing earlier in the day, didn't know Anise would be that big a price.
Couldn't have.
Would you? I would figure about 8, 9 to 1.
Yeah,
so they certainly threw it in, and that's it.
Not 30.
Now we got 1 to go, and if you're alive and you're having a bit of a problem, I suggest a nitroglycerin pill. This is the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's a $4 million race. Now this is the 6th leg of the Emirates World Series of Racing Championship, but I think Daylami was the only one eligible with any accrued points over in Europe.
He was, and I think he's probably got it. Whatever all that bonus money is, like they really need it at Godolphin. I know they need the cash. Well, they'll get some more.
Well, they'll need more money. That's very good for Keeneland and other horse auctions.
Correct.
Okay, it's time for the big one now, the final one, the end of Breeders' Cup 16. Let's go down and start looking at them, beginning with long shot number 1, Cathinus.
This horse was claimed for 50 grand in April and has won $250,000 since, has been a factor in races like the Whitney and the Suburban, ran 2nd at Barron's in that race. Just missed a running stag up at Saratoga, but a long shot for sure.
Well, he's not the only claiming horse in the race.
Not at all.
One of them isn't that big a price. And there's the big horse. I guess we're trying to pick him up now, the number 2, Barron's. We're looking for him now. There he is. There's Barron's.
I saw James Bond walking into the paddock. He looked cool and relaxed for a guy who's been preparing for this race for exactly 12 months. I know he has. The horse is, 8 starts, 4 wins, 4 seconds. He's been in solid in every race. The question is he at his very top today after racing all year long? This was the idea, to get him here at best, and we'll see.
With it all, he's only had 8 starts this year. 4 wins, 4 seconds. Jimmy's a very patient trainer. This horse has been up at Payson Park. And there's a horse that beat him, River Keen. Speaking of claimers, you could have picked him up in a claiming race.
100 grand last December would have gotten you River Keen, and he's only won $1.3 million this year. He is the hottest horse in America right now. He won the Jockey Club. He won the Woodward. He is not a fluke. Mr. Baffert looked like he could win 2, 3, 4. Well, he's down to his last chance.
And this has a good chance, but this is it for Bob Baffert, at least for this Breeders' Cup. Golden Missile, Stronach Stable, Joe Orsino, Kent DeSormo.
Yeah, Golden Missile has, had one gigantic race down here in the wintertime at Hialeah in the Widener. Really, that's it. That's the only race that would win this or even come close. He won the Skipway. He was 2nd in the Hawthorne Gold Cup to Supreme Sound, who we'll talk to in a minute. He's by a Breeders' Cup Classic winner, AP Indy. I don't think so today, though.
Vision and Versus had some glorious moments. They weren't winners, but they were glorious. He had seconds in the majors.
Yeah, 2nd in the Belmont, 2nd in the Travers, 3rd in the Meadowlands Cup. Bill Mott, improving 3-year-old. Gary Stevens, dangerous.
And Cat Thief, has he missed any event?
Cat Thief is running them all, Harvey. He's run 11 times. He's only won 1, but he was there in the Derby. 3rd here, 2nd there. He always gives you an effort. I don't think he's got any race on his lines, however, that wins this race today.
Well, and Jerry Bailey is riding the number 7, Almutical, and I apologize for getting the name right.
Yeah, why would you do such a thing, Harvey? This is the horse that won the Dubai World Cup back in March. He ran River Keen to a nose in the Woodward, was 3rd in the Jockey Club. Forget the Euro form. This horse likes the dirt. He can go on the dirt. He's certainly a factor, and Godolphin's going to try to get the turf and the Classic back-to-back.
And he might have some points in their World Series, too.
He does.
Okay, he's got a shot. Number 8, Ecton Park. Ecton Park coming off a win in the Super Derby.
Won the Jim Dandy, 2nd in the Ohio Derby, didn't run so good in the Kentucky Derby, but this is a horse by 49er out of that great Mr. Prospector family. Look out. Absolutely the improving 3-year-old, and the Super Derby has been a real good race for the Breeders' Cup Classic. A lot of winners have come out of it.
Long shot number 9, Bud Royal, coming off a pair of wins.
This might be the greatest story of all. This is another former claiming horse, claimed by trainer Ted West, owned by Jeff Sengara. The horse has won $2 million since they claimed him, and there was no way to imagine. This is now a 6-year-old who just got finished beating General Challenge in the Goodwood in one of the great races run in 1999.
And here it is, Bob Baffert's other last chance, General Challenge. The clocker tells me that he's rolling up the truck to bet out on this horse.
Well, he was part of the favorite entry in the Derby, and he wasn't quite ready yet, Harvey, just at that stage of the year, but he's won the Santa Anita Derby. He won the Pacific Classic. He was a great 2nd at Bud Royale. in the Goodwood. So yeah, general challenge is certainly a factor. The question is, does he ship over to here? He's being saddled. You can see it in the
tunnel.
In the tunnel.
The number 11, Lemon Drop Kid. Lemon Drop Kid doesn't like moisture in the track, accounting for some of his bad efforts. But when he's good, he's very, very good. He won the Travers. He won the Belmont.
Now, he's really well bred. He's a grandson of Mr. Prospector, who passed away this year. We talked about his track record. Belmont Travers, it's a heck of a double. On his best day, he certainly has a chance here, but he's going to have to give a lot of ground to a lot of really good horses and pass about 8 or 9 real talented horses.
A lot of long shots on the outside, beginning with Chester House.
Yeah, Chester House, first time on the dirt. This is Juddmonte. They look like they're desperate. He's also being saddled in the tunnel. They just are desperate to win a Breeders' Cup race, because this really does not look like the right spot for this particular horse, first time on the dirt in this race.
There's a long shot near the outside that you'll probably see on the front end for a while, Old Trieste.
Yeah, Old Trieste has not been terribly well managed. On his best day with the swaps, the Californian, awesome, absolutely phenomenal, but it looks like the horse is not anywhere near his best day, but he will at the very least be in front and take this race away and set it up for somebody coming from the back, because the pace is going to be very hot, I would think.
And another long shot on the outside is trained by the man who really made Breeders' Cup history last year, your man, Michael Dickinson.
Yeah, disclaimer, he's a good friend of mine, but yeah, it's hard to imagine this horse can win, but it's also hard to imagine any Michael Dickinson horse in any race in the world being 99-1, and that's what Supreme Sound is in this heat. Michael told me never better than right now. The problem is, as he said, never better may not be good enough to even get close in this race. That's how good these horses are.
We've settled a lot of Eclipse Awards today. We may be settling Horse of the Year in this race. Let's go down the paddock, and Janine.
Well, what an outstanding group of horses here. And like you said, Harvey, General Challenge was in the tunnel, as was Chester House. General Challenge was being a little bit of a bully while they were putting the saddle on him. They didn't have a pony down there, so they requested one of the outriders come down. So one of the outriders did go into the tunnel, but once he got the saddle on, then he was much more well-behaved, and both he and his stablemate River Keen have been training exceptionally well. We all know how great General Challenge has been training here, 3/4 in 109.3, absolutely relishing the racetrack. Now, River Keen will be running with a patch on that right hind foot. The patch was just replaced last night by Ian McKinley, the foot specialist that's been working with River Keen. So he's racing with a new patch on his right hind foot tonight, and he is just taking everyone's breath away here in the paddock. Just an amazing sight. A couple of other horses to talk about in here. Lemon Drop Kid has definitely been showing everyone that he relishes Gulfstream Park, that he loves the racetrack. He's been flourishing down here, and everybody that knows the horse has been saying how well he looks and how well he's been training, and I know he may be up against it in here today, and only 5 other 3-year-olds have won the Classic, but if today's ever going to be a day for Lemon Drop Kid to show that he loves the racetrack, it's going to be today here at Gulfstream Park, and maybe throw in another big upset. Another horse with some equipment, Old Trieste racing with glue-on shoes. We all know about his problems with quarter cracks, and so he will race with glue-on shoes on his front feet, and he schooled in the paddock here yesterday and was a striking sight, just looked fabulous for trainer Mike Pipey. So I know he'll probably just be a pace factor, but Old Trieste looking very, very good in here as well.
Well, it's the Breeders' Cup Classic. The wind is beginning to come up on us again. It's a $4 million race. It's the 6th leg of the Emirates World Series Racing Championship, and it is also the final race in Breeders' Cup 16. It's been a great day. Let's see if we can finish it up. Let's see how Barons does as he tries to become Horse of the Year.
Yes, he's a top-class galloper, Barons. He's won 2 Group 1s and multiple Group 2s. His recent form is very good. He ran second to River Keen last time out in a Group 1 race over 2,000 metres. The Breeders' Cup Classic over 2,000 coming up, running through the market. Katina 62, 620 for Barons, 870 River Keen, Golden Missile and Vision Verths are both at 23. Cat Thief 790, Almerta Wakel at 360, and Ecton Parker's tumbling in at longer odds into 30.